let's walk you through the process in Illustrator of tracing an image. First things first, if you open Illustrator and you File, New, we just need a basic letter size. This will be fine. You guys aren't making anything too big. If we were generally working with a full-size sheet of material, we'd work with a full-size document, but this should be fine. So you have some kind of image that you're working with that we need to trace in order to cut it out with the laser cutter. In order to get that image, you need to place the file. So File, Place, and then go find your file. I am going to borrow this ping file because you can work with a JPEG or a ping. A ping will work a little bit better only because it's transparent in the background, but honestly it doesn't matter. With the file place, you have a pointer and you're like, okay, so where does it want me to put it? You can put it anywhere you like. However, if we work in the top left-hand corner, it becomes easier to place that on the material in the laser bed. You can make it whatever size you need to. And if you're confused about, well, how big exactly is that? If you hit Command R, it'll bring up your rulers. And these are currently in inches, preferences, units. Let's make sure, general inches, yay. So you can see roughly how big this is. If you are changing the size, if you hold down the Shift key, it'll keep you from making it a wonky size, right? So hold the Shift key down, and you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, depending on how big you want this. Generally, I find things that are more than 2 inches are just really big. So I would be careful about making anything too much bigger than that. And you can, again, place this all the way over here in the side. You can see that's about 1.5 inches. That's really not too bad. So once you resize, we should be all set. Okay, now you will see this X over your placed image. We need to take a second step. We need to rasterize that image. This is really important. It's particularly important because it sets the image into the file. Otherwise, it's just a reference file, which can cause you problems later. So we're going to rasterize this. When you rasterize this, we want to make sure that the background is transparent. This will definitely work in your favor. And then everything else is fine. You just hit OK. Now, what we have here is just black on clear, right? So the interesting thing is that the next thing we're going to do is trace around, because what we want is the line around all the black parts, because we want to be able to cut out this part and cut out this part. So in order to do that, we're going to Object, Image Trace, Make and Expand. All right, make and expand. Now, you'll see when that happened, this filled in with white. Okay, this is where things get a little bit confusing because your paper is also white. You have a couple of options with how to do this. You can either put a color behind it so you can see what you're doing, or you can move this whole thing out here so you can see what you're deleting and then put it back on the white paper in a minute. Because whereas we have all these lovely outlines, we also have this became a shape in and of itself, which we don't need. So we are going to, with that still selected, we are going to go back to this, and expand one more time. So we have all the parts and pieces. And then up here, your selection tool, with the selection tool, the black arrow, it selects everything. With the white one, if you click, see how we get all those nodes? Yay. If you click off of it, you can select just one little area. Now, I selected that white area because we don't need it. We also don't need all that white background. We also don't need all that white background, or that white background, or that white background, or et cetera, right? So, oops, what did I do? Zoom. Command plus will zoom you in. Useful. Deleting and deleting. Okay, now if we had done that over the white background, it would have been really hard to tell what you were deleting. So anyway, this is what you have. And we want to then go back to our selection tool and select the whole thing. And you will see, interestingly enough, that over here and up here, you have a black fill with no stroke. Okay, what we want to do is switch these. So this little arrow here, go bloop, and now we have the outline. Ta-da! No problem. So I'm going to put this back over here on our white background, and you will see, oops, if I move it over, that is what we're going to cut out. Now, in order to actually cut that out, we're going to select it one more time. This stroke size, right now it's like 0.35 millimeters, right? We need it to be 0.001 in order to cut with the laser cutter. Otherwise, it just engraves it. We don't want that to happen. So in here, you have to type 0.001. I know there's a drop down. 0.001 is not an option for your drop down. Then hit either tab or return, and it will look wonky. It will look like, what the heck is going on, and why can't I barely see it, and whatever. It's all right. That's just what it looks like. And if I zoom out, it makes it really hard to see. But that is what you need for your file in order to cut it on the laser cutter. So we can do this on your computer if you have Illustrator, on my computer if you don't, or on the computer that is currently hooked up to each of the laser cutters, the Windows machines, if you don't mind working in Windows, to do this. So as long as you have the JPEG or PNG file, we can do this tracing without too much trouble. So that's the basics. I just wanted to give you a heads up, and you can have a clue about where we're headed today. And I will see you in the workshop.